The reflection stalker. Lena had never been superstitious, but the accident changed her. She could still remember the screeching tires, the crushing sound of metal, and then nothing. When she woke up, the world felt like a distant dream, hazy and unreal. Doctors said she was lucky to be alive. Her body had healed, but her mind? It wasn't the same. The first time she saw it, she thought it was a trick of her eyes. She was standing in front of her bathroom mirror, brushing her hair, when a face appeared in the glass that wasn't hers. Her heart skipped a beat. The reflection was off. It looked like her, but the eyes were darker. The lips curled into a sinister smile. "Lena," the reflection whispered, though her own lips hadn't moved. She jerked back, dropping the hairbrush. Her heart raced as she stared at her reflection, which now only showed her no sinister doppelganger. She shook her head, convincing herself it was just the stress from the accident. But it happened again the next day. This time, she saw the figure while driving. In the rear-view mirror, her reflection was smiling at her, eyes wide, but the rest of her face remained locked in fear. Lena swerved the car, nearly hitting a tree, and when she looked again, it was gone. Panic clawed at her chest. She began to avoid mirrors altogether. But no matter how hard she tried, the figure would always find a way to appear. It showed up in the glass of her phone, in windows, even in puddles on rainy days. Each time, it wasn't just a reflection. It moved on its own. It smiled. It winked. And worst of all, it began to speak to her. "Lena, you're not real anymore. I'm the real you." Lena was terrified. She told her friends, but they didn't believe her. "You're just having flashbacks," they said. "It's normal after trauma." But Lena knew it was something else. She wasn't imagining it. The reflection was becoming more and more independent, taunting her, following her every move. One night, after a particularly disturbing encounter, Lena decided to confront it. She stood in front of her full-length mirror, eyes narrowed in defiance. "I'm not afraid of you," she shouted. Her reflection smiled back at her, but this time, something was different. The smile wasn't cruel. It was almost sad. The reflection's eyes softened as it whispered, "I'm sorry. I didn't want this." Lena froze. "What do you mean? What do you want from me?" The reflection's lips trembled. "I'm not you." Lena blinked. "What do you mean you're not me?" The reflection reached out a hand, pressing its palm against the glass. Lena mirrored it, confused and trembling. Suddenly, the reflection's hand pushed through the glass, and for the briefest moment, Lena felt a cold, unholy force pull at her. "Get away," she screamed, stumbling back. But it was too late. The glass shattered. The room grew eerily quiet as Lena stood frozen, staring at her broken mirror. She felt different. A dark, empty feeling spread through her chest. The room looked unfamiliar, as if she was seeing it for the first time. Then, slowly, she turned her gaze toward the reflection in the shards on the floor. It wasn't her. The figure in the broken glass was smiling again. No longer a mere copy of Lena, but something darker, something more menacing. "I'm free now," it whispered. "And now, you are the reflection." Lena's knees buckled. The world around her blurred as her body began to dissolve, slowly fading into the broken mirror, her last scream echoing through the house. But outside, in the street, a woman was walking past. She stopped, catching a glimpse of the reflection in the window. It was Lena, smiling, alive, and staring at her with eyes full of something unexplainable.